Good evening. Now, by the time I end this speech, at least 5 LGBT teens have thought or attempted to commit suicide. It is shown every day that this community gets constant belittlement. And for what? You're telling me that just because a man loves another man, that he shouldn't exist? This is absolutely ridiculous and unfair, and we as society are the reason. The LGBT community should have every single right that we have, because they are human too. And I'm going to be discussing some pretty controversial topics, and I will be raising awareness for the poor treatment this community gets and showing you why it shouldn't even be a problem. Now let's go ahead and address one of, if not the most discussed topic, same-sex marriage. What's the issue? I mean, it's currently legalized in all 50 states and U.S. territories by federal law, so it's not breaking the law. So why would you tell anyone that they cannot marry the person they love? If it doesn't affect you, then why do you care enough to stop it? The argument of, oh, it's not natural is complete bull. According to the World Wildlife Fund, scientists have observed thousands of species who also have lifelong same-sex marriages and even adopt and raise kids, which leads to my next argument of gay people can't raise kids. What? Your sexual orientation has no connection to if you can or cannot raise kids. Take Zach Walls. He is a 6th-generation Iowan who graduated from the University of Iowa. He is an Eagle Scout, and he has so many more successes, and I really suggest you listen to his speeches. Anyways, he was raised by 2 women. He is living proof that same-sex marriages doesn't mean that you cannot raise kids. In fact, any argument you make against gays having kids can immediately be reversed and proved that it also applies to straight marriages as well. And yes, some people just should not and do not deserve to have kids, but being LGBT and your capabilities of raising children have no correlation whatsoever. And then I bring up the media. Multiple shows and movies have avoided same-sex relationships because of the fear of backlash, especially children's shows, which I understand that the point of these shows are not to focus on the relationship and are more meant to be educating or entertaining, but having little to no exposure at all. If anything, that's why people grow up to think it's abnormal when it's not. Having a same-sex relationship or marriage shouldn't be an issue in the media. And I think that if we were to include them more in children and young adult shows and movies, then people will actually learn more acceptance. But enough on that, though the next topic is arguably more controversial. Transgender surgeries and treatments. Now, there are many different types of treatments that you can get, but it starts with simple things like just using products to kind of conceal and changing your style and your aesthetic, but then you step up to hormone treatments, which the most popular are usually testosterone or estrogen shots or patches, which will slowly change how your body physically develops. For example, a woman taking T-shots will eventually grow to have more muscle mass, they will grow more facial hair and body hair, and overall just look like a man. And then the next step up is surgery, which you can get a top surgery, better known as a mastectomy, or a bottom surgery, which actually has a lot of flexibility of completely switching which organs you have, to just changing the outside, to just chopping what you got off. Like, there's many options out there. And currently, all of these treatments are legal in every state for adults. Now, when it comes to minors, there's a little gray area where about half the states don't allow it, and it gets even more gray because some of the states will allow it with parental consent, while some just will not altogether. Now, the people making the decisions to get these surgeries aren't just waking up one day and walking down to the hospital and doing it. It is something that they have thought of a lot. It's something they want to do to be happy. So why would you take that away? And the biggest argument I see against these surgeries is that they shouldn't happen unless they're absolutely medically necessary. Okay, then every single cosmetic surgery is off the table. I'm talking nose jobs, lip filler, Botox, breast implants, BBLs, fat reduction, skin reductions, all of it, gone. And you don't hear people complain about those types of procedures. Sure, you might get a comment of, oh, so-and-so's got a nose job and now she looks ugly. But there's a difference in saying that and saying that these surgeries shouldn't exist at all. By definition, transgender surgeries are cosmetic surgeries. So if you don't have an issue with all of those procedures I just listed, then why are you so offended by transgender surgeries? Moving on, before I start seething, let's move on to what I think is the most important topic: discrimination against the LGBT community. I can say with complete confidence that every single person who identifies as LGBT has faced discrimination. Hell, even I have faced discrimination from my own family when I came out as asexual. I constantly got the comments of, maybe you just haven't met the right person, or how would you even know? And I'm not the only one. All the time, people hear these comments that, by the way, you don't even have to say it. No one is forcing you to say this. Did you ever learn as a child, if you don't have something nice to say, then just don't say anything at all? And even though these comments seem small, they add up. And whenever it's all you hear, you get sick and tired of it real quick. And it makes you feel like a lesser person when you aren't. You are still human. You are still a functioning person in any society. But everyone tells you otherwise just because they don't like it. Then we get into more serious issues involving work or schooling opportunities. And I currently am witnessing a conflict at work where a host and a busser can no longer be scheduled together because the host doesn't like that the busser is gay, saying that he is forcing it onto him when I'm friends with this busser. I didn't even know he was gay. So you cannot be saying here that he's too outwardly gay. Now, that's just a small example, but despite it literally being against the law, I myself have seen people get turned away at the door just because they look LGBT in some way. And sometimes these people aren't even part of the community. Just because they look like it, they don't get the job. And for schools, I completely understand that you can't just move rules around and stuff, but at least at my high school, homophobia was a huge issue, and I know it's not just my school. How my best friend, who currently lives with me, used to get beat up by the same gang of 4 friends every single time he went to the bathroom. But instead of punishing these kids or trying to correct them in some way, the school solution was to tell my friend to go to the counselor's bathroom, which was across the school from all of his classes. What? And then there's the issues of teachers. And while it's not as common, some teachers will grade differently if you are LGBT. I have seen it and have literally had to report a teacher in my high school because one of my friends got a lower grade than me on a multiple choice test where we had the same answers. And I could go on and on and on about the discrimination. But let me remind you of those 5 teens from the beginning. Next time, one of those people could be someone you know. A neighbor down the street, family friend, hell, your little brother who hasn't even come out to you yet. These people can't and won't lead happy lives because we have failed them as a society. Instead of constantly belittling people who identify as LGBT, we should be raising more awareness and fighting for them. The treatment we get is absolutely ridiculous, all because a man loves another man, or a man wants to become a woman, or one person loves multiple people. If it isn't illegal, which it isn't, then why the hell is it such a problem? If it doesn't affect you, then why do you care so much to stop it? And those of you listening who are part of this community, go live your life. Screw anyone who says that you aren't normal and that you shouldn't exist. It's all bullcrap. As long as you are happy and healthy, that is all that matters. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful evening.